I think it's working now. We're live. We are live here on YouTube, everyone. So yeah. So it's you see right here. I got to put it up on the main screen. But Talk Sarcasm Podcast. We are live coming from you. We got myself and from Florida, hailing from Florida. We got Rockstar and of course, hello, Sean in the house.
Hey everybody.
We got to go ahead and. Yeah, we've been having a lot of technical difficulties. We've been doing some stuff here. But we are here now live. And what we're going to talk about today is we got some stuff on Friendzone, being Friendzone. I'm sure a lot of people have been Friendzone.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, you know anything about that?
Yeah. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but you know, you are a good friend.
Well, give us some of your experiences.
Yes.
Well, I would just say in general, not necessarily talking about my own personal, but what I've seen, right, is, you know, when we get started, it's like you're a guy, and in most cases, it's a guy, and a guy is such a good friend to a girl, but it's almost too good of a friend. And this dude, whoever it is, could be me, could be somebody else, you know, is trying to do all the right things, right? Saying all the nice things to people. You know, just trying to be the best possible friend to a certain girl because he's interested romantically in hopes that this friendship becomes much more than that. Unfortunately, the downside of that is it really doesn't become much more than a friendship. Okay, because the girl kind of like, oh, I have this guy here. He's great, but he's a great friend. And there's a difference between being that great friend and being that romantic link. So, you know, this is it's while it's nice to be a gentleman, while it's nice to be such a good friend to a lady, well, if you end up being too good of a friend, you're kind of done. And that's what we call friend zone. And there's no romance for you, but great friendship for sure.
Friendship. That's good. That's a good description for sure. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have been friend zoned. I think more guys have been friend zoned than ladies. And like we've talked, we just went out to Put in Bay. We did a bunch of interviews. We asked a bunch of people, do you think guys and girls can be friends? And what I found, a lot of the women said, oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, guys and girls can be friends. But then when we started kind of pressuring them and, you know, prying in, they says, well, you know.
But they're saying that the guy always wants, but this is what they're saying. Now, whether it's true or not, we don't know, but they're saying that the guys are the ones that are, because we talked about this before, that one side or the other always wants more.
Yes.
But they're saying the guys do. And we almost had a lady that was in one of the bridal parties, which we've got some video coming up. So plenty of video coming up from Put in Bay in Sandusky, Ohio. So we got a bunch of video coming up, but yeah, the girls are saying that it's the guys, and we tried to get one of these ladies to call one of her guy friends, but there was some riffraff there between two of the girls. One of the girls was saying, what was it? Or they all hang out together, or he's something or another, but you'll have to see the video when it comes up. But yeah, so the girls blame it on the guys. So what we want to do is we want to hear it from the guys. We're here live. You can call in. You can
live chat. You want a live chat?
Live chat with us. Send us a message, guys, and let us know what your experiences are.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got we're going to do a little bit of live stuff here, and then we're going to go ahead and go off live. We're going to do another show. We've got a lady friend coming in for sure, and then possibly a few other people. But so we just want to jump on live real quick because we haven't seen you guys. You know, we've been, like I said, we were out in Put in Bay and having a great time. And unfortunately, Sean couldn't make it. We had an awesome time, and I think you would have as well.
Always works out that way. You know, every time you don't go, it's a great time. And every time and you go, it's, oh, it really wasn't that great.
Yeah, we did have a little travel issue. But
we won't get into that's another topic.
Our bodyguard had to come and pick us up.
Yeah,
you know, he's
over there somewhere.
Yeah, but
I think this friend zone conversation reminds me of a conversation we had recently about being a simp or a guy who is a simp.
Or the red pill.
Yeah. And, where if the guy is a simp and makes this, some girl like just his, is all over her or something, makes her feel so good. But, she doesn't consider you as like the top option. She considers you a real nice friend, but she knows that, she has you in whatever, she can do whatever she wants.
Well, that's because women don't know what they want.
That's true too.
They want somebody to tell them what they want. But when they get what they want, then there's no more challenge. There's no more fun. There's no more, they want that good guy, boring guy, but they want that bad boy, bad guy. And there has to be drama in any kind of, and I'd rather the guy bring it, because
absolutely,
then it gets more confusing. But if you don't have drama in a relationship, then the girl's gonna get bored, and she's then she has nothing to.
That's right.
She has nothing to.
And what happens?
Work for anymore.
What happens if you don't create some kind of drama or whatever? She'll say she's bored.
Right.
And what I hear from a lot of girls, you probably have as well. You'll see a girl and we'll say, "Hey, how long you been together?" "Oh, we've been together 4 or 5 years, but I left him." And you'll say, "Well, why'd you leave him?" "Well, I was bored. He was bored."
Yeah. I mean, we heard some of that.
Yeah.
The other day. Well, you're gonna see it.
And then what's funny, if you ask the guy, if you went and ask the guy's side of the story, because there's always two sides, he'll say, "Well, I worked all the time to give her the life she should have had.
Yeah.
But she wasn't getting the attention and validation that we talk about all the time."
Or she got what she wanted, and then now she's achieved her goal, and now it's boring. So that's when you got to cause the drama again.
Yes.
There was once, really legendary football coach who said, he's had winning teams, won Super Bowls and stuff, right? But he says that we're not a good team unless we have friction in our locker room, friction in our coaching staff, friction between the players.
That's a very good example.
Players getting in fights and stuff. Like, you need that kind of friction.
You got to stir it up.
And we're not saying that it's bad drama. There just needs to be some kind of drama to keep the interest.
You know what you gentlemen have to do, what I've found out, and listen up, guys. So if you're in a relationship and everything seems like it's flowing, it's going great, you got to stir up the drama yourself. Start the drama yourself before she does. So start a simple, something simple, and you left, you put the toilet seat down. I told you to leave it up. Something stupid. That's one thing real quick. Have you ever noticed women are always like, "Why didn't you put the toilet seat down?" Well, but guys aren't like, "Why didn't you put it up?"
Well, it depends on whose house you're at.
Well,
I mean, if you're at a woman's house, then yeah, you want to have
makes
respect
sense.
And put the
but
toilet seat
it's
back
always
down
been
for
my
it.
house when I've been in that situation. Girl will be like, "Why didn't you put? What's my house? That's why I didn't put it down."
Right, because I'm not used to that pattern.
I'm not sitting down.
It's mostly a guy using that because it's
Right.
your house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One comparison I was thinking about when we talk about like this friend zone stuff, right?
Mhm.
Is you guys ever watch the TV show The Bachelor?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a guilty pleasure. I've seen it. Okay, but what happens is, you've got a guy you've got about 30 women after that bachelor, right?
Right.
And that's nice and all. But what normally happens, the girl that ends up winning oftentimes is the one who can kind of reverse the table and have the bachelor pursue her.
Right.
And why she is the interesting one and almost like reversing everything.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we've been talking about too, is that we see on TikTok and the social media lately that the girls are now, the roles have been reversed, and the women out there are, where are the guys? Where do you hang out? Why can't we find anybody? Well, guess what? The roles have been reversed. Now we're helping a lot of us podcasters out there are finally helping these guys out there to give them the answers they need and turn the tables. And here's where we've gotten to.
Right. I think things are changing slowly. But I think it's with anything, it's going to be a lot of due diligence. It's going to be a lot of just keeping on, getting information out. because too many people are programmed, I think, by media and politics and stuff today.
Right.
And
Nobody has their own
yes,
thinking. No, own.
be unique.
Yes.
Yeah, be unique. Think your own thoughts. A lot of people are just followers. They're sheep. And I'm sure you see that a lot as well.
Sure.
A lot of people don't have their own thoughts, and we need more of that, I think, especially in
Right.
like we did a bunch of interviews out in Put in Bay, like we were saying, and the majority of people said the problem is
social media.
That
was the biggest. I think that was said in every single question when Derek brought it up. What is the problem with dating today?
Right.
Social media.
Right.
Absolutely.
Nobody goes out and meets people anymore. It's all texting and social media. And how do you get to know somebody that way? I mean, I can understand, a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 tweets or messages back and forth to, hey, what you doing? This, that, and the other. But if you can't meet somebody out, you would meet somebody out in the bar anyway, right? Even before social media, you met people out when you were out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why is it so hard to, if you meet somebody online, let's meet me out and have a drink or lunch or whatever the case may be? But then there becomes this big drama filled ridden time to get to it.
I think you bring up a really good point that we kind of, we've maybe talked about a little bit before, is that like, if you're talking to somebody through social media, whether it's online or dating app, whatever else, your goal should be to meet in person as soon as possible.
Right.
And not to be sitting there as text buddies, And I think I've said before is like, there's nothing worse than like having to be text buddies where like you're exchanging like good morning texts, good afternoon, good evening. What are you up to today, Derek? And
Derek.
It's pretty boring, dude.
Yeah, really
it's just too repetitive. I mean, and most of those are probably just hitting the paste or the clipboard click.
Oh yeah.
You got it saved on their clipboard, and they just keep posting it over and over and over.
Or they say if you're a certain political affiliation, swipe left. Well, it's like, okay, you're first of all, you're judging somebody based on perceived political viewpoints. So as the guy, you either have to, maybe you agree with her political viewpoints, or you have to pretend to agree, or don't bring it up at all. But
so all you're doing is really bringing up more lies, because now you've got to lie, because obviously, like you said, politics shouldn't be a part of any conversation if you're trying to meet somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's made it that way. Mm-hmm. And now it's just bringing up, oh, you lied to me. Well, when nobody will ever meet if they talk about politics.
No. And like I said before, I mentioned this, and I'm sure you guys will agree. I think politics just divides all of us like crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It does.
I mean, why can't we just go out, get to know each other, what we like?
And why can't we just get back to the day where you had the voting day, you go vote, you go home, and you go on with your life?
Yeah. And, we could have, you could have a healthy disagreement on something at the dinner table or whatever else, but then leave it there,
But families are breaking up.
Yeah. Has it gotten to a point, I'll ask this question, where you cannot seriously date somebody from the opposite political viewpoint of yours?
It seems to be getting that way.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I've told this story before. I go out on this Tinder dates, which I should probably stop.
Swipe right for Derek.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Swipe right for Derek.
But I went out with one girl. As soon as we sat down, she looked across at me and said, "Hey, if you voted for Trump, we might as well end this now."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously,
that's not a closed-minded person.
Right.
I don't know what is.
Right. And it doesn't even matter who I voted for.
Right.
The fact that she was so closed-minded to that one thing, I was like, you know what?
If you're closed-minded to that one thing, what else are you closed-minded to? What other problems are we going to have down the road that I don't even want to get into?
That's exactly it.
What I would also add too is if a girl says, what are your deal breakers in a relationship? Well, if she's asking you what your deal breakers are, that means she has her deal breakers and she's going to let you know what those are. And it's probably pretty strict.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially if she's asking you that question.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody's fishing on a first date, but there's some red flags that we've done one video about, recently about dating red flags. But we got some other ones coming out about first date red flags. What's something you should look out for on the first date? And so that's something we have as well. But it's for males and females. I mean, there's certain things you got to look out because we've talked about briefly. We might have somebody on the show to talk about a lot of girls that are going on these dating sites are getting kidnapped and trafficked. And it's crazy because where this young generation is of females, I don't see it so much as guys. I'm sure there might be a few, but I see a lot of these young females will just get some guy slides in her DM, Instagram, whatever, says, "Hey, I'll fly you out to Dubai. I'll fly you out to wherever." They don't even know him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're dumb enough to fly out of the country to another country with somebody you've never even met or know, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay,
yeah,
You're
it's
stupid.
That's a red flag, nonetheless.
All right, we just got a message live here. Ohio Buckeyes guys, Mike needs turned up. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Or I need to speak louder.
Yeah, you're
Speak
3, right?
louder. Yeah,
You're 3
I'm
there?
number 3.
All right. So,
and the thing is too, when we talk about social media and stuff, right? Like if you're talking to somebody, well, you probably are looking for like their Facebook profile, right? And then let's say I find your Facebook profile. I'm like, oh, Derek, who is this girl in this picture that you're with from 6 months ago? What was that about?
Yeah.
And, it's like, oh, here's this picture of you holding a beer. And, who are these girls in the photo? What's your story there? Is that your girlfriend? Looks like it.
And who are you?
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who are you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
sure.
Absolutely. It's always something going on. And, that's modern dating. It's crazy. And like I said, we were going around interviewing people, just trying to get the heads up on things. And it happens to be all the same. That's our
bodyguard.
Our
crew.
Our bodyguard.
Our bodyguard taking one of our brothers home.
He's going to pick up some females.
Some females.
I'm going to procure some.
Yeah, something like that for sure.
So yeah, but it's crazy though. I mean, and I was asking a bunch of people there. I says, "What do you think a solution would be to modern dating?" And we got a few mixed. I mean, what the problem was mostly the same. A lot of people said social media was a problem.
Oh, it was every time.
But then I asked, like,
every time,
what would you think a solution would be? If somebody came to you right now and said, "Hey, you're the guy. You got to figure out the solution."
Go back to before social media.
That's
what it was all. It was go back to meeting people, actually meeting people, and not having social media was the big. I mean, from what I remember.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the old fashioned way,
Yeah.
Now, I guess, the benefit to social media is, for example, you could meet somebody you never would have met in the first place. Somebody that maybe lives in a different city than you that you never would have seen out, because back in the old days for us to meet up, you'd have to be the same exact place at, as this, whatever girl you're meeting, and you'd have to like actually use social skills, talk to her, hit on her, and see if that works out. Then you find out sometimes you don't even know if she's single.
Yeah.
So that's always fun, hitting on somebody who's like married or something.
I'll give you a little tip, Sean. Any modern day woman is not single.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Never single.
That's a good point.
They're never single. And I've never had a girl argue with that.
Yeah.
And so, they're just not. We did a recent study, came out not too long ago. 50% of women that are married said they have a guy in the background. I mean, and that's only the ones, like we said, that admit it.
Right.
I mean, and this is absolutely insane.
If half admit it,
yeah, I would think the number is probably more like 90% of women have a guy in the background.
I would think so, or at least, and the friend zone.
Yeah, they have the friend zone. That's what I'm saying. They have a friend zone guy
that they can turn those tables on.
And what will happen is they might be married or in a long-term relationship with their main guy, but they have that friend zone guy in the back They're keeping him around.
Mhm.
They might not be having sex with him for a while,
Mhm.
but they are using him for attention, validation, possibly to repair stuff for him that's broke, change their oil in their car,
Mhm.
things like that. And it's
That's what an oil change place is for.
yeah, well, right. No, it's but you know what?
I mean, unless you live here.
what's
hilarious?
hilarious?
Hilarious.
Well, do you think? Let me ask you this: is it a good idea? Would you prefer this or not? Is if your girl, whoever you were seeing,
Mm.
had like one of her best friends is like, her friend zone guy would be like a gay guy. Would you prefer that because you know that they're not going to be a thing? However,
I think
No, but here's the thing. You can't even look at it like that because regardless of who they are, you don't have any control over any of it.
So-
It's either gonna happen with somebody else or it's not. So
Yes.
you can't sit here and worry about what they're gonna do or
So
what
you-
they're not gonna do.
So, Sean, you're asking the question: would a guy prefer? If she
would
had
you
a gay
prefer
friend?
Yeah.
if you had a girlfriend right now? Would you prefer to have her like have a gay guy as like her a bestie or something
Well,
like
I
that?
think any guy would. But here's the
Okay.
thing.
Well, yeah.
Here's the thing. How do we know he's gay?
Yeah, he can.
You don't always know.
I mean, you can say you recognize as anybody you want.
Yeah.
Mhm. Now, I also will add to this, and I think I agree with you on that one. But I also would like if girl has mostly guy friends, I think that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a red.
I think that's a big red flag. Most of my friends are guys. Hope that's okay. Actually, that's not okay.
So funny you said that. I was just watching over some video we're editing from our interviews we did yesterday. We asked that couple girls that were in the wedding party
Right.
about friends, having guy friends, whatever. And they were like, well, yeah, it's cool. I think you should be able to have guy friends and all this, right? But then when we started kind of, going deeper into the conversation,
Asking if the guys should be able to have girls as friends, then the roles reversed and the
Yes,
whole
and specifically
atmosphere changed.
there was a blonde specifically I remember talking about. She was going to
The
call
one next to you, yeah.
She was going to call her
The
guy
tall one,
friend
yeah.
and tell her she was going to call. I said, call
But
your.
supposedly that was so close that he would have
Well,
automatically.
you know what I found weird? She said she was living with him
and she's married, or
in a long-term
what?
relationship, 4 years.
I thought she said she was
I
married.
think she
and-
might have been
or
engaged or
engaged?
waiting on her to engage.
How do you?
But she lives with her
Oh.
guy friend. I mean, that's not weird?
That's very.
That's weird.
So when I pried a little deeper, my point I'll get to real quick here is she eventually said, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend does get a little agitated when I go out with my guy
Well,
friends."
why would you not respect him, especially if you're engaged or with him? Why would you not,
Yes.
as a woman, respect those wishes
Mhm.
and do something about it and change that? Or do you just not care? Are you trying? Well, there it goes. Then they're bringing drama in.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
now you're bringing drama in the possible marriage before it even gets started. So what does that guy got to look forward to once you get married?
Hey, make sure you
Mhm.
talk into the penis so we can hear you.
Yeah, and I think Derek, I told you this story before, right? But like there was this girl we went out, and her best friend was a guy. Okay, that's fine. Wasn't a gay guy, straight guy,
Oh.
and it was turned out her best friend was like her ex-boyfriend. Okay, one that
Oh,
she
we had
still
some of
girl
those?
said
Yeah.
that.
one that she still was interested in, but the
Yeah.
reason that they broke up because he didn't want to have kids. So she's turning to someone else
We had that too.
Mhm.
because she wants to have kids. And even
Yeah.
though this guy she loves, who's like her best friend still,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to have kids. So she is going elsewhere to have kids. Well, guess what? I'm going elsewhere
To not have kids.
Yeah. So, goodbye to that one. Good luck to you.
Well, we had. I think we had all those scenarios when we were in. Bay.
Yes. We got a
We had a
bunch of the scenarios, and it was crazy because I could tell a lot of them weren't telling the truth.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna have a bunch of these videos up, we've got to do some editing. But if you see, like in some of them, me and him ask the same questions after a few minutes just to see if we're getting the same answers.
Right.
And we did not always get the same answers because what we found, and ladies, I'm not saying you all do it, but the majority of the people we found lying are the females. And once we pried a little deeper, they eventually told us the truth. And we're like, oh, well, yeah, I did cheat, or yeah, maybe it wasn't my
and the
problem.
one was she cheated because it was revenge. So she cheated because he cheated supposedly first.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
what I found about that is she said it wasn't physical though.
Right.
So apparently
The abuse. There was an abusive one, but it wasn't physical.
Well, the one you're talking about where she didn't cheat, apparently he asked the girl to, go down on him. And that was cheating to her.
Well, duh.
So listen, you know what her revenge was? I don't know if you remember, but I watched it earlier. I was editing. Her revenge was all he did was send a text, right? Her revenge to feel like it was okay was to hang out with her ex-boyfriend. But they didn't do anything.
Okay.
They didn't do anything. So here's the difference.
What do you think what do you think the percentage of nothing happened was on that?
You're gonna ask me?
Mm.
I've been around.
Look,
I've been around the block.
It's a very small, very
small block too.
Yeah, I've been around this block quite a few times.
Yeah, it's
yeah, and a lot of girls will ask me, they're like, "Well, why do you feel that way?" Well, when I see 90% of you females doing it, I'm sitting here, I'm begging, I'm pleading, I'm asking. If you females say you want to come and say, "Hey, it's not all of us, it's not all of us," well, come and tell us. Show us that you're unique and you're not like the rest of these girls. We would love to find somebody like that.
I think the key is too, as we're getting into, is like, we all have options, right? You have options. The girls have options, right? And you have to kind of like look at your options, right? Think about what your top option is. Say, hey, this girl is at the top of the list, right? I would cross her off right away because, you're probably not her top option. What you want is somebody where you can kind of read them and figure out that this girl considers you her top option.
Yeah. Right.
And if that's the case, then great, roll with it, But like, if you feel that like, you're not some girl's top option, I would walk away because you're probably not.
Well, that's what I tell a lot of guys these days now too. The way that women are, and it's a shame we have to tell them, but I tell them, wait till a girl shows interest in you. Don't try to chase this girl. Don't try to bend over backwards for her. She's gonna friend zone you and use you as long as she can. So you know what? If you guys aren't, going back and forth. Now I'm not saying, if you're a good person, do something every now and then. But don't go 5 years down the road and be like, yeah, we're just still friends.
Yeah.
I've changed the tires or oil. I've babysat her kids. I've done this. And
started paying child support.
Yeah, but we've never done anything. We're just friends. We're just really good friends.
And sometimes it's little things that you don't think about or take for granted. It's like, you're going to go out with her. Well, you're going to drive. You're going to pay for the bill. You're going to take her home, and it's just things that you kind of take for granted anyway, like have her buy
some people
you.
Do. I don't think every woman does. If they're a woman, then I don't think they all do. Because, but, like I said, 50% of them have what they do, but there's probably more. But I mean, we're not saying that every woman's like that. I mean, I think some do appreciate it a little bit, but I find show reciprocation.
I find that number amazing.
Yeah.
Over half of women
that admitted even. I would think like 20%.
Over half admitted. So that tells me, if I had to guess, I'd say it's 90%. 90% of women have somebody in the background. And here, because of those studies and the stats we're seeing, ladies, this is why men are like, hey,
turn in the page.
Yeah, we don't want to deal with you ladies. This is why men are backing off. They're doing their own thing. Not because, I hear a lot of ladies say, oh, you guys are players. You guys are fake. You guys are this. We're mirroring what is happening because we have to.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a point where you would go, find some girl who's like really not attractive, right? Maybe just, not horrible looking, but you know what I mean? Not that attractive, right?
Disfigured.
Yeah, well, not like that, right? But like, would you consider her more because you say, you know what? I don't think she has somebody else in the background.
Well, that's what we were talking about on one of the last ones where you could be a 10 in looks.
Yeah.
But if your personality is a 0, you come down to a 2 or a 3. But if you're a 5 or 6 in looks and your personality is a 10, then it might bring you up to 7 or an 8.
Well, we did talk about too. Some guys will go down a number. They'll say, I'd rather be long term with a 5. you know, than have to deal with, because girls that are 7, 8, 9s, 10s,
too much.
there's a lot of drama because they're getting
baggage.
a boatload of attention.
Yeah.
Now, especially even now with social media, and what's even deeper, you have girls that are 4s and 5s because of social media. There's 500 guys out there hitting them up.
Yeah, they think they're an 8.
Yeah, and then they turn into a 9. Like
we've interviewed quite a few girls that said, "Hey, we're 9s, and we're 10s." And you know what? I asked them. I said, "Okay, so 10's the top, right? So that means perfection.
Yeah, you're flawless.
So you're saying that there's nothing you need to improve at all?"
Nobody's a 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, nobody's a 10.
But that's funny because they always say, "Oh, I'm a 10. I'm perfect." What do you bring to the table? I am the table.
Yeah,
I am the table.
Literally.
I'm everything.
Yeah.
But it's simple. You know what? It seems like common sense to have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You go in a relationship, you meet somebody you're attracted to, and you say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for." Another person says, "This is what I'm looking for." If it doesn't mesh, you go your own way. You know, you might say, "Hey, I just want a one-night stand." She might say, "I want a one-night stand." You guys do a deed, you don't ever talk again. Or you just wait till you're horny again. Or foodie call. You go out, you have some food, you wait till you're hungry again. And then you go out, you know, have some more food.
Well, let me ask you this. When someone says they're looking for something, quote unquote, casual.
Oh,
what do you mean?
How do you define? No, I'm asking, how do you define casual? What is casual?
So I'll tell you, because we just did the red flags. We just did the red flags to look out for on the dating profiles, right? So I seen casual on there. I didn't add it though because we had so many. We probably had 20 of them.
So translate that for me if someone says casual.
So if it's
somebody to type in and tell us what casual is.
I'll tell you from my experience and talking to other people, when a woman puts, "I'm looking for something casual," what do you think it means?
That it's either a hookup or obviously not something very serious.
Yeah.
At the very least.
I mean, it's it.
Just a kind of a casual when we get together kind of. I mean,
it's common sense.
Self-explanatory.
But here they're trying to make themselves look not like garden tools.
Right.
So they're saying, "I want something casual." Instead of coming out and saying, "I want you to take me to the nearest dirty hotel and all night." So they're saying, "I want something casual."
It's a nice way of saying something much naughtier than that.
100%. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. So
whatever.
Now, of course, you've got the girls that are on there like the first thing they say, "I'm not here for a hookup."
Yeah.
You know, that like they have to throw that out first. Like, you know, "Hi, I'm Sean." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not here for a hookup." Okay. You know, so let's just throw that out there. Yeah. If you're this political persuasion, swipe left. Okay.
Wait, here's another thing too. You know, you'll hear that a lot. You know, let's say you go out on a date and, you know, you actually do meet up with the girl because a lot of times they just want to chat on these things, you know, pen pal. They want to friend zone you. They just want attention, validation from chatting. But let's say that you actually do meet up with somebody. Sean, I know you're on the dating apps and I am too. And
you were just on one the other day. We need to hear that story.
I think Sean might have been going out. But, you know, that might be private. That might be private. So
I get my stories mixed up, you know, like I forget what I did last weekend.
Get that
hey, ever since Sean's been on the podcast, I think he's been getting a lot of attention.
I think
hey, everybody.
Call in. Hey.
Call in. Yeah, we can. Let's talk.
He's available.
We got live chat here. And we got a couple.
They're coming.
Yeah, we got some viewers there checking us out. So anyways, yeah, so you might get, here's the thing that because we're going to do a podcast on what to look out for on your first date for guys. So I've been working on some stuff here. And so one thing, just going off of what you're saying is, let's say that you guys get to the bar, you're sitting at the bar, you're getting your drinks, and she looks at you and says, "We are not hooking up tonight."
What do you say?
You know, I would be a little taken back by that because it's like, you know, I don't know how far we got for you to say that right away, you know, because I always say, you know, whoever we're going out with, you know, let's go and have a good time, have a drink.
Yeah.
That's it. And like, you know, I would not expect to say, "Oh, let's go hook up." You know, I wouldn't even think that. And so for her to say that, that's just kind of weird. I would call that a turnoff.
Well, here's my second question.
Yeah. Why a turnoff?
Why do you think she brings that up in conversation? Why do you think? Because it's weird. Like you said, nobody just brings it up. Your first drink, whatever. I'm not hooking up tonight. Could you imagine if we went out with a girl and we got a first drink and we looked at her and said, sweetheart, I'm not hooking up
I'm
tonight.
not hooking up with you tonight.
I'm not doing it.
It's just weird.
So why do you think women do that?
I don't know. Maybe to make themselves look a little bit better. Maybe because, I've talked to some of these girls where they get from their side of the dating app and, having guys like send them really inappropriate pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of that. And, as a guy, we don't get
I heard
inappropriate stuff.
No?
Not really. No,
You don't?
no,
You don't get
not really.
twat shots?
Not really. No, but it's
Who's
the girls get the naughty pics.
I
Well,
heard.
from
you're in
other
the friend-
guys
You're
on there.
definitely in the
Yeah.
friend zone then.
Wow.
Oh, no. Is that why you're on the show today? Or are you
Yes.
trying to get out of the
You
friend
trying to
zone?
get naughty
Yes.
pics.
Trying to get out of your friend zone.
Send Sean the naughty pics. Sean wants all of them.
Yeah.
Give him your Snapper chat or give
Right.
him your Twitter.
And I think the sad thing is like when we talk about the friend zone, it's like, you could really be just a good, nice guy, but then, it's like the saying goes,
Boring.
nice guys finish last, right?
Yeah, we know what happens to the nice
Yeah.
guys.
So the key
Boy,
is to
do
be
we.
somewhat on the edge, somewhat of a, I guess you could call it a jerk. I guess you could say,
Yeah.
show some wit, show some sarcasm.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, right?
You got to be just a
It's-
little toxic.
Yes.
Toxic, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But not too much, just a little bit, You don't want to
Yeah.
be too crazy with your toxic.
You want to
know?
bring some sarcasm. Just don't make it too toxic, but you got to keep it interesting.
So I have a lot of these
Mhm.
guys, they'll say, they'll be younger guys in their 20s. They'll say, dude, what do I do? What do I see when I go out to date? Like there's one line that's going to encompass everything,
Yeah, no, that doesn't work
And
that way.
It's so tough because everybody's different. And each guy has their own game and they got to kind of hone in on what they're best at.
Right.
I mean, if you got a jagged tooth and a lazy eye, you're going to have to work on something,
Mhm.
But if you're attractive, it's going to be a little easier for you. But,
If you have money, then it's even easier for
well,
you.
yeah, you could be ugly and just need money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I have a good friend and he doesn't consider himself
he's
to be
ugly.
Well, yeah, he says he's really, he doesn't consider himself very attractive at all, but like he's really good as far as like just talking to ladies. Sometimes it's like, walking up to a group of ladies
Mhm.
and like just starting a conversation and, strike out on your own. Sometimes it doesn't work, but just having that personality to go up
There
to
you go, there you
a
go.
random group of girls and say, hey, what's up? And to get that going. So it's a level of confidence.
Mhm.
Confidence, and there it goes back to personality.
Mhm.
Having a good personality is a big portion of it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Mhm.
yeah, friend zone. God, there's so many guys at friend zone, and it's sad to see because they will go through years. I mean, I've got a bunch of guys I think of right now, and they will go for years hanging out with this girl, and we've got a girl coming on. She's eating right now, so she'll. But anyways, these guys go for years doing stuff for girls. You were talking about it. We won't name any names. But you were talking about a guy the other day that says, I got to go meet this girl. She needs me.
She needs me. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, she
And
needs you.
She needs you. And,
What does she need?
The context of that is,
You gonna buy
let's
her
say
dinner?
she's a bartender. Okay. And she needed him to come up to the bar because I guess there was some, creepy guy there at the bar, and she needed him to kind of like, as some sort of protection or something else, And this gets into another question I'll throw out there is like, nothing against a profession, but like, would you date a bartender? Or is that like, what? I wouldn't do it anymore.
How old am I?
Is this directed at me?
It might be.
I mean, how old are? I mean,
Well,
you
because
asking this question to a
from
20-year-old or a 50-year-old?
It could be anybody. Like, for example, from my perspective and seeing things, it's like, well, the bartender, even at your local bar, who may not be the most attractive girl, still is the one that has all the guys or most of the guys hitting on her.
Well, it depends on what you're looking for in
Mhm.
your life, or a relationship or non-relationship. It depends on what you're looking for.
True.
I mean,
well, I could,
you want a career-driven person, or do you want
All right,
somebody
here.
That's a good question. That's a good
Okay.
question.
Oh, here
so I'll
comes.
give you, a waitress or a bartender
Mhm.
is just one step underneath of the stripper.
underneath?
Yeah. Because she's got clothes on.
Oh,
She's one
Mhm.
step classier. Because she still works for
yeah.
that would
tips.
be above.
She still has to flirt guys. Oh, she's one step above a stripper. That's
Right.
I thought I said the strippers one below. Maybe not. But I love the strippers. I'm not, entertainers, whatever. But most guys, this is from surveys from guys and stuff, they'll say that, hey, dating bartenders and stuff, and I might have dated a few, but this year, but anyways, yes, they're like one step over because they have to do the same stuff. They have to flirt with the guys, and they have to work for the tips, and they're also very promiscuous.
Right, but it's just the strippers make more tips
because they're less close.
Are there certain careers that are seen as more intellectual?
Yes.
That you would, but that you would avoid girls. Like, for example, would you date a girl who is a lawyer? Would you date a girl who is a doctor?
No. Maybe. Yes. I'll tell you.
No, I mean, I can understand. Certainly, if someone says, "Oh, I could date a doctor who's like really rich or something like that." Okay, well, that's nice and all, but you're also dealing with, there's certain quirks about different girls and professions.
So that's what it just depends on what you're looking for in a relationship or whatever.
So I'll brush on this real quick. I have the top like 10 women professions not to date. We'll go into a longer one later, but I'll touch on it briefly since you did.
Sure.
I'll give you guys a little snippet. So the top women not to date because of the most promiscuous. What do you think it is?
The top 10?
No, who do you think was one in the top 10?
Waitress slash bartender.
That you would not date. Is very promiscuous.
Waitress slash bartender.
Okay. What do you think?
A cop.
You think a cop?
I think a cop.
Okay, so you guys are both in the top 10. But I'm going to give you one you might not think of. Nurses.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have been another one.
Nurses are really bad. Not only surveys, but I know personally as well.
Well, I mean, you got to figure these nurses are. I mean, a guy can be a nurse too. So
sure.
I guess depends what you're talking about.
Are you a nurse, Fokker?
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Remember that movie?
Some of these dating sites are loaded with nurses. Like it's like Nurse City in some of these sites.
Have you? So, Sean, I know you're on the dating sites. You're only on Grindr, right?
Yeah.
No. So, have you noticed that the majority of women on these dating sites
are nurses?
Nurses and single moms, or single mom nurses.
Lately.
Certainly a lot of single moms.
A lot of cops.
There's a lot of cops, and what we talked about the other day, the most domestic violence is between cop relationships.
Yeah. I mean, where I live, it's like every time there's a news alert, it's like local sheriff's deputy gets arrested for domestic violence.
Yeah.
And they're out arresting.
So you would not date a girl who's a cop?
To tell their story.
Would you date a girl who is like hardcore military?
Short term.
Sure.
Short term.
Till she kicked my ass.
Now, when you say date, do you mean like, for a couple months, or do you mean like long term?
I mean,
I would probably say more
relationship or just date.
I would probably say more long term.
Oh,
well, I mean, it depends on if you can tolerate. If you're the type of a person that can tolerate somebody being gone for 6 months to a year at a time.
Yeah,
thank God.
Because there's a lot, some people might like that. Hey, she's gone for 6 months.
Good. So, Derek, what else is on this list of top 10?
Good insurance. So you also have, of course, your bartender, waitress, and then your entertainers, and then another one that people really don't
secretary
think of.
Right.
Another one, really, a lot of people don't date, which you touched on here briefly, is women attorneys. And what surveys show is that a lot of women attorneys are very argumentative.
I would say
it's part of the profession.
Psychologists.
Oh, yeah. I touch on that.
Psychiatrists, psychologists.
So I was with a few girls like that.
I just want to know who their psychologist is.
They all have one. If they don't, they need one.
Then let's flip the question here, and then what girl career would you prefer the girl to say when you're gonna go out with her?
I don't live in America.
I come from a rich family.
Okay, that's a good one.
There's really, I mean, housewife. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I want to be your housewife.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
And the problem is because a lot of women end up having you've probably heard this term before, house husband. I mean, work husband.
Yeah.
They'll have a house husband and their work husband. And I talk to so many girls. Oh yeah, this is John, my work husband, or Kevin in sales.
What the hell is my work husband?
That's the guy they go out with at work.
At work. Oh, and then you got the house husband that stays home and watches.
Yeah.
I've been work husband before.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine if you go along with it. I guess it's your own version of friend zone.
Do you guys make copies on a copy machine?
Yeah, making copies.
I'll be right behind you, sweetheart. Go and copy those.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of friend zone if you're so in a nutshell, the basics of being friend zone is you're a guy that she will not sleep with. I mean, of course, there's things that are entailed, but what happens is too many guys will go along with this for years, and they'll do stuff. Oh, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Yeah.
Well, how far has that gotten you?
That's great. And what might happen? You might get lucky in 10 years. If you went to high school with her and you've been a friend forever, after she's ran through a bunch of dudes, by the time she's 30, 35, she might be like, hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean, you ready for this?
It's like that meme, right? Like the meme going around where like this shows this woman like, oh, this girl you loved in high school, she's finally ready to give you a chance. And it shows her all run down and, tattooed up cigarettes and stuff. And, looking like she's been around the block a lot.
And I hear a lot of, I know you do too. I hear a lot of these single moms, or they don't even have to be moms, but they're 30s, 40s, and they've been ran through. They've been the village town bicycle, and they get offended when we give them stats and say, hey, look, most men don't want a female that's had a lot of guys. And they'll say, why not? Guys can do it. Why can't we do it? Since the beginning of time, any religion, anything, Islam, Catholic, anything, it says in there, they don't want women being promiscuous. And the main reason why is so a guy can figure out that the paternity, that's his child. A guy does not want to pay for a child until he's 18 and find out it's not his kid. So it's a sign, it's a red flag. We tell guys, if a woman's been with 600 guys, she might cheat on you. I mean,
yeah, but
go figure.
Well, let me play the devil's advocate. What if the guy's been with 600 women? Is he going to cheat on her?
So here's the double standard. A man can actually cheat and still love you. Because that other girl he cheated with means nothing. And we've heard from a lot of.
Why can't a girl do that?
It's emotional attachment. This is the reason why it's worse if a woman cheats, is because it has to be emotional. She has to have some kind of emotions tied to that.
Yeah.
So that means at some point she got an emotional attachment. So they were hanging out for a while, or at some point she got attached. Now, guys, I don't know if you guys are guys, but we could go outside right now to the road and be like, hey, you want to come over real quick?
Where's our bodyguard at with the girls?
Well, he might have he drives a lot. He drives a lot.
So we need to call,
we've got
we may be leaving here live, everybody, but if you do have any questions, obviously you can go to YouTube. We're on YouTube. Toxic Sarcasm Podcast at gmail.com. Send us your emails, send us your questions, let us know what you think. Go on, subscribe, and we're coming.
Yeah, we've got somebody who wants to jump on here, but we're gonna get off live, and you guys check for it here soon. So we're gonna jump off here, and we're gonna have some more stuff coming. So we'll have some more lives coming for you guys.
Peace out.
Oh God. Yeah, I didn't want to keep